Welcome to Eddie Caine Radio. I'm your host, Eddie Caine. Today is March 23rd, 2015. This is episode 2 of our show. We're coming to you live from Dallas, Texas, United States of America, North America, planet Earth. Once again, I am excited to be here. I just want to thank you all for tuning in last week's show. We got some great feedback and definitely enjoying ourselves and want to make more things happen. But just want to had a great weekend. As a matter of fact, my weekend was awesome. Especially spring, it just came around, so it's great. It's been warm. But we have a great show for you today. Now we're going to have a guest, our feature guest. Her name is Annika Michelle of Volition Unlimited. She's a poet and a hostess at a few venues in Dallas, Texas. And Annika she's just released a spoken word CD, Life at 40. So we're going to have her on a little bit later on in the show. Also, we'll be discussing performance poetry. Is it the new entertainment industry? Personally, I would like to think so. Actually, I know it is a niche within the industry. It's so many different great things that's going on about with poetry and spoken word. You have everybody's heard of Russell Simmons' Deaf Poetry Jam, and you have places like Lyricist Lounge, so on and so forth. And it's been on mainstream media. It just hasn't had a sustainability. But I would like to let you know it is something that is definitely, it has a culture of its own. Just like how rap used to be back in the 70s. You had Sugar Hill Gang and people like that, rappers that rap started in the basements. You used to have little basement parties and things like that. And, spoken word is basically the same thing. It is definitely a culture. It is. And within that culture is great, is love, because it's not just a form of entertainment. It is, you're getting your education. It's like your soul is being fed, and so it's a good win-win situation. But a lot of people don't know it. You can actually have a viable source of income from doing poetry and spoken word, and that within itself is a beautiful thing. As a matter of fact, just this weekend I was in Fort Worth, Texas at the Dock Bookshop. It's actually one of a couple of black-owned bookstores in Texas. But I was out there, and one of my friends, she is a phenomenal poet, spoken word artist. Her name is Sonny Patterson. She was out there performing. And she's been on CNN, Deaf Poetry Jam, been around the world, things like that, performing. And it was just great. Not only is she powerful, but yet when you have a gift where you can impact people and also live comfortably, that is a beautiful thing. And that's what, no one wants to be a starving artist. I know I don't. I don't think anyone wants to be a starving artist. But we need to learn how to We need to learn how to incorporate the business aspect or the business side as far as with our art. Most of us really don't know how to do that. But luckily, that's one thing about with the show, with Eddie Caine Radio. We're going to start helping. We're going to show different things like that. We're going to show mediums like like I was just speaking about Annika Michelle. She's a hostess, but also, she's a poet, but she's making a sustainable living off of what she does. There's a lot of things of that nature. We don't realize the opportunities that we have. We just have to make the best of it. Just keep your eyes open and you'll be able to see. But earlier I was talking about springtime. Welcome spring. I know everybody is glad the weather's changing because it has sucked out here in Texas. I don't know, for the longest it was just cold, and then it was hot, then it got cold again, then it was snowing, and we was just stuck, and I hated it. And it's like everything is alive again, so that's cool. That is awesome. Definitely glad the kids are back in school, too. because I had them for the spring break. And wow, it was something else. It was something else. But before I go on any further, I would like to say, hey, Annika, how you doing?
I'm really good. How are you?
I am great. Thank you for asking. Also, thank you for being on the show. Thank you very much. I am very happy to have you out here.
Yeah, I am happy and honored to be on the show. Thank you.
Cool. Now, let me ask you something. I was talking to you the other day, and this is when you gave me a copy of your CD, Life at 40.
Yeah.
I like it. I really do like it, and I was really surprised with the book that came with it. I was not expecting that. Actually, I didn't even know it came with a book until you gave it to me, and I was like, wow,
right, well,
this is
yeah,
awesome.
some people, I'm sorry. Yeah, some people, might just faced with the decision, do I issue a CD or do you issue a book? Because, with a CD or, a audible track, you can pretty much listen to it anywhere, but sometimes we also like to have something in our hands and, with our eyes and our brain kind of engaging with, the reading process. Took me back to when I was a kid where we used to have the read-along books and, when time to turn the page, go bling, and you turn the page and read along. And I really enjoyed that because people receive information differently, tactily, visually, audibly, and so forth. So I just wanted to be able to have that full experience, that multimedia experience for the, consumer, for the recipient. I guess consumer sounds very commercial, but for the recipient, and that way people had options. And the book actually has, I think, 18 poems, and the CD has 11 tracks. So there were a few pieces that I wanted to put in the book that I was like, maybe this isn't the best fit for a CD, but I still want to, distribute this creation that I've made. So I feel like there's just a lot of flexibility with offering both to me. Yeah.
That's good. It's almost like you work in different parts of the brain as well.
Different parts
of what?
Think
about it on that level.
Oh yeah,
the brain.
absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Not just not just hearing it, but you're seeing it. And also, people also, what I found out is there's been many times where people have read my poetry, and they was like, man, I like this. But then when they saw me perform it live, it's like, wow. I would not have imagined that performance to go with this particular poem. Because, especially if you haven't heard an artist before or a poet, because when we read things, we hear it as if it's our own voice.
Right.
But then when when you see it performed live, it's like, wow, it's completely different because then you can actually see the artist's interpretation. So that's cool. I like that. But also, you were talking when you were talking about the book and the CD, you said something about consumer, and then you took it back, and then you said recipient. But back on the topic as far as performance poetry, okay, there is an aspect where it's right. That person is the consumer. We don't want to, we don't want to make it seem like, oh, this is commercial or things like this, but it is a business. So, and it is, it's factual, that's a consumer, but they are a recipient as well. So I'm glad that you said that because I think we need to change our mindsets as far as, getting rid of that starving artist aspect, because we got to eat too. Poets got to eat.
Yes, we do. we bought into the poet and poets.
But let me ask you about this. As far as being a viable means or a potential means of a sustainable income, what's your take on that?
I think, yeah, it's definitely possible. You have to have the talent, and you have to put in a lot of work. If anybody thinks it's going to be easy, nothing in life really is. So that's I think a reality check that we all need to understand. That even if you are tremendously talented, it still takes a lot of work. And even if you put in a lot of work, you need to continue to develop your talent and build relationships, business relationships, distribution outlets and network with people. It just takes a lot to really make it happen. So it's definitely sustainable, but nobody achieves success in anything without, I think, a holistic approach and really having the mindset to understand what it takes to really make it happen.
Gotcha. You're right. You're right. And then it's completely different from working a 9 to 5.
Absolutely. I think. Go ahead.
It's like
when you work for yourself. Go ahead. That's right. You got it.
No. You was just about to go into what I was saying. That's what
okay. All right.
The question, but go ahead.
Yeah, because we did talk about this the other day, and I have other artist friends. Currently, like, this is all that I do. I know some people who either, for whatever reason, left their previous employment, working for another company, and just became an entrepreneur, a creative entrepreneur working for themselves. And I think we really limit ourselves. We all have bills to pay. Some of us have kids. We have households to run, things that require, economic resources to just, to sustain our personal lives. But I think you're only going to get out of your artistic career what you put into it, and it takes sacrifice. And I don't have cable TV because that's a bill I chose not to have, so I could put my resources into my business. And any business, it takes
right.
capital investment on the front end, and and time is a resource. When you're giving 40 hours a week to somebody else's dream, you are, whether it's a corporation or even other small-owned business or whatever, these are noble things to do. But I think we really need to be aware and mindful of the return on that. So I'm not saying quit your job. I'm just saying decide what's most important to you.
Right. No, I understand that completely because, first off, when you said you don't have cable either, in my brain you should have heard it screaming, yeah, I'm not the only one because I don't have cable. That's a luxury that I don't need, and I don't, like you said, I don't want that bill either. I could be using that money towards something else.
Right.
But even because there are a lot of people that they like poetry or they love the arts, and there are some people that love the poetry and spoken word, whereas they are the artists as well. But a lot of them also have have jobs as well, and sometimes they want to quit their job, but it's like, man, I got these bills I got to pay. You know what I'm saying? I have these responsibilities. I got this steady check coming in. So it's like you definitely got to understand that people do want to take care of their families. Like you just going ahead and making someone else's dreams come true versus your own. And what I've learned as far as having conversations with a lot of people, motivational speaker, things like that. Actually, some guests I'll be having on the show in the future, like Kanika Hart and Stacey Bryant. But what they say is, even if it takes a step to walk a mile, right? You will never reach that mile point if you don't take a step. The terminology, I crawled before I walked before I ran. So even if a person that has a 9 to 5 job, even if they take, let's say, a half hour a day and just of their own time, just start off like that. You can start off even with a half hour a day and maybe practice your pieces or writing something down, or even if you're working on a book or you're an author or things like that, take some of your own time for yourself, for your business.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Like for me, just getting started with, performing and hosting, I knew since I was a teenager that there was definitely some big social advocacy things that I wanted to do. And I was married, I had a family, I had small children, and I didn't see the path, like, okay, how am I going to get from here to there? Because right now my life is wrapped up in my, personal domestic activities. But I felt like, to take it one step at a time, and the opportunities will reveal themselves. So, when I began performing, it was primarily a personal expression of the things that I was going through. And then other people started telling me, through social media, hey, you're everywhere. And for me, it was, my social outlet, my creative, emotional outlet. And it's like, oh, you are your own billboard, one of my friends said. And so I'm like, okay, I realized, okay, I'm becoming noticeable, and it must be something that I'm doing that people are noticing when I'm just being myself. And then I thought, okay, there's power in this. Sometimes people talk about, oh, you're just doing that for likes. And I'm like, okay, I don't need the likes myself. It feels great, but what can I do with this opportunity? I see the opportunity, so I just sat down, did some strategic planning. I'm grateful that, I've had the opportunity for business management degree, accounting degree. I know what to do. I was like, okay, this must be the opportunity that's before me. So let me look at my strengths and come up with a plan and do it. And I know it's a long process. Nothing happens overnight. So I feel like for me, 2 years ago, 2013 was a time of transformation for myself, personal transformation. And then 2014 has been a year of what I've called building the foundation. This year for me is a year of me just boom, excuse me, exponential growth and exposure, because I knew the plan. I made the plan, and now it's just a matter of executing it, and taking it to the higher and higher levels as far as I can reach.
Oh, all right. Wow. So actually, college has benefited you. I mean, would you say that? I mean, dealing with learning, about business in college and incorporating that into what you do now. I mean,
it has benefited me, but at the same time, as if people have the access to formal education, I do recommend it, but I realize that not everybody does. So especially with the internet today, and again through spoken word, we are transmitting knowledge in our communities, to our peers, to even to our elders, to the people younger than us. So I, as much as I do advocate for higher education, I know it's not the only option, because student debt is a thing, which can be very oppressive as well. So I think if we just need to be open-minded and be hungry for knowledge and look for information, wherever we can. So yes, it's been useful for me, but it's not the only place to get information on how to do things effectively. I would say, whenever I'm doing goal planning with a client, I'm a social worker, so whenever I'm doing case management or something like that, I always just say, let's identify some concrete goals. And if you don't know what to do, the first step is finding out what to do. Trust your own instincts as far as being innovative. We don't have to do things the way they've always been done, but let's also not, burden ourselves with trying to reinvent the wheel. If other people have been successful at something or similar to what we want to do, let's learn from them. Like, hey, can I have a moment of your time, or can you just point me in a direction of where I can, get some information? So you have to be a go-getter. I can barely hear you. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to figure out how to ask this particular question, because this idea just popped in my mind, because I'm still thinking as far as performance poetry and means of income, and just even from a different aspect, being an artist but also being a businesswoman. Would you say you have you can see it from a different angle, because you host a couple spots?
Yes.
In the Dallas area, so you're hosting venues, and you're promoting, and you're networking, and so it's like, and you're performing simultaneously, and it's like you're wearing so many hats, So
right.
How do you get them confused?
Well, no, and the way I think integration is important. Understanding, when I go to other venues, I'm not the host there, so I have to know my role wherever I'm at, and I'm cautious about when is it okay for me to promote, when is it not okay for promote? Because if I'm performing, I'm there to perform, not to do a commercial. You know, if I'm somewhere else, then, just depending on the context of the situation that I'm in, I try to be mindful of that, respect, the venue and not overstep my bounds, and but at the same time, not miss out on an opportunity to say, hey, this is what I do. So I try to be, gracious and considerate, but still be, assertive at the same time. I think we can solve a lot of problems through communication by, just talking to the people who are running the venue. Hey, what's okay, what's not okay? How much time do I have? What do you want me to do and not do? So I think there's communication on the front end, gives me, lets me know my boundaries about what I can and can't do. To me, I think, in this community and promotion of spoken word art, I think I try not to be selfish. I'm not going to make it just about me because I support other venues. I promote other venues that at the same time, same day and time as my venues. I mean, there's not heavy promotion and I share it. I don't invest money in it because I have to be business-minded, but in terms of my time and just letting the community at large know about what their options are. So I don't see that as a threat to what I'm doing because I think we're all kind of in this together. I definitely take a collective perspective at this, while simultaneously, asserting my personal social agenda. But in terms of yeah. So I think I find a way to integrate that all together. Yeah.
I definitely understand. I definitely understand where you're coming from. And what we're going to have to do is take a quick break. So, everyone, I'd like to thank you for listening. Annika Michelle is on the show. Thank you for being here, Annika. Please hold on after the commercial. We're going to get right back with you because we want to hear that fire that you spit. This is Eddie Caine Radio. I'm your host, Eddie Caine. This is an ECMS production. And what we have on the show today, we have a guest. Our guest, her name is Annika Michelle. She's out of Dallas, Texas. She's a hostess, a poet, a promoter. She's a businesswoman. And today what we're doing, we're discussing the topic of performance poetry, a new entertainment industry. Because it is definitely, poetry is everywhere now. You hear it in commercials, you see it on commercials, you hear it on the radio. It's everywhere. And what I found out in Dallas is that it is very big. The culture is so big. You have poetry slams going on a bi-weekly basis. You have almost every night of the week you can check out a poetry venue out here in the Metroplex. I mean, that's Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, and surrounding areas. I mean, they have a real big scene out here. And some of the people they have really good out here, you got Rage the Almighty, Awaji, Prudence. You have so many people. And also we have hosts, Natty, venues like Natty Roots. They have Fort Worth Poetry Slam, Dallas Slam. It is bananas. So if any of you all, I'm talking to you, the ones that's overseas too, out there in Australia, Nigeria, London, even as local as Jamaica, you're around in the states, surrounding states or cities. Definitely come out and check out, the Dallas, Fort Worth, the Metroplex, the poetry scene, because it is great. It is awesome. I like it. It's almost like my equivalent of going to church because I can get that energy with no filter. That's the great thing about it. And I was saying earlier when I came back after the break, we have a guest, Annika Michelle. How you doing? Oh, great. That's good. Like I said before, we're happy to have you. And we were talking about the CD and the book that you have called Life at 40.
Mm-hmm.
And what made you come up with that CD?
Well, I am over 40, and the first time I got on the mic was in 2010, and I was still married at the time, and just right before I finally, got divorced, and so when I got on stage and I was writing a lot and just, being more active on the scene, I realized, as a performance poet, it would be a good idea to have a product. I knew I had a lot of material and decided it was just time to, put a CD together, put a book together, and have product for sale. Just to help, to make money and to help distribute my art, because as a performance poet, people can come to venues, but not people also go home and they're in their cars or wherever they go and travel, and can have my poetry with them and not just be dependent on coming to hear me live at a venue. So I felt like it was a good business decision and also an opportunity to share.
All right, cool. That's great. That is awesome. And I'm not even sure if you know, but I'm about to put you on the spot, okay?
Okay.
I want to know if you can go ahead and bless the mic for us. You know how we say how they say at the poetry venues, come bless this mic. Would you mind spinning the poem from the?
You got to stay ready
for us.
Yes. This piece is called A Letter to Poetry. You ready? All right.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Dear
I'm ready.
Okay. Dear poetry, I'm sorry I cannot be what you are to me. You are laughter and you are tears. You are joy and you are fear. You are in the distance and so very near. You are tomorrow, right now, and last year. You are all of these things and everything in between, and these are but a few simple words, yet you are so complex. You are an infinite library of microfiche collections of volumes of text of the illiterate. You are the platform and the podium and the microphone and a multitude of orations of those with a muted voice. You are the connection across generations, across nations, and inspiration regardless of station. It is the same equation. Word plus sound equals power. Power to empower. Have you heard the word? Well, it ain't grease, and it sure as hell ain't bird. The word is what someone thought, what someone felt, what someone experienced, what someone envisioned, and found the courage to share with the world. So you are created as creative beings with inherent internal power to create anything by merely thinking it. And words are the vehicle that transport that created thought from inception and are the catalyst to proliferation for the exponential growth of all future forms that will become. Think words, write words, read words, speak words, hear words, feel words. The written word, first perceived by the optic nerve, the frequency and sound waves of spoken word insane to the basilar membrane. Subject to cerebral interpretations by cognitions and limbic systems, resonates within, marinates, and in turn generates. For every action, there is a reaction. See, poetry, you have synergy. You are an element more powerful than water, essential for life. You attribute yourself to precipitation and saturate the earth and evaporate back into the atmosphere, being collected together through heat, cold, and pressure. Cloud formation and transformation, you make your own schedule, location, and destination. Condensation and common gathering places have high visibility. But what about humidity? Water vapor in the air. You cannot see it, but it is there, and one of my greatest fears is to be stricken with drought, thirsty, praying for rain. Sometimes you flash like a flood or spring forth like a geyser, and even in abundance, sometimes I wonder if I will ever reach satiation. You are the moisture in my respiration, the evidence of work put into my perspiration, and it is surrealistically amazing to me that the existing basic elements, simultaneously complex atoms and molecules, transforming particles of matter that comprise the entire universe, ever presenting in profound form. Damn, poetry. Just look at you. I cannot be what you are to me. You have always been there when I have turned to you, and I'm sorry for all the times I've turned away. Thank you for never leaving me, even though I have gone astray, trying different newfangled things that were mere distractions from myself instead of expressions of myself. And all that you are, poetry, you know that you, too, are addicting. If I turn you on, you just flow and flow and flow, and I'm promised that I'm grateful for my portion of this gift, but I have to make dinner, and I got to go to class. I need to sleep sometimes, and I also need a bath, and I'm sorry that it would be a lie for me to say that I wish that I could give you my life, but I know that you know I know my calling. There are children who are abused, who never got saved, that grew up and turned into messed up adults that few people care about. And those are the ones that you enable me to be there for. So thank you, poetry, for all that you are to me, the people, the messages, the power. Thank you for what you are to those who know you and what you will be to those who haven't met you yet. That's that piece. Thank you.
Wow. Awesome, awesome. I'm doing the old school thing, finger snaps in the background.
Right,
I don't know
right.
if you hear it. That is great. Miss, do you have a website? How can you be reached so, the listeners can go ahead and get the CD? the Life at 40
is this
series.
easy.
Where can they go?
Volition Unlimited, all together on one word, .org. So you can, everything I do spoken word is right there.
Okay, great. Can you spell that just in case? Because I know me, I'm not a good speller.
Volition Unlimited is 2 words, VOLITIONUNLIMITED, volitionunlimited.org.
Okay, great. Once again, Annika, thank you for being on the show. Greatly appreciated. I definitely enjoyed, what we were discussing about as far as performance poetry and how, what we can do to make it better. We'd like to have you back on the show sometimes in the future. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I just want to say, as for artists, I think it's very important that we know our worth. Do not underestimate or overestimate your value. It's okay to donate your time and talent, but make sure that for business-wise that you have all the information up front before you agree to do something. And, don't think that you're worth more than you are, but make sure that you don't undersell yourself either.
Gotcha. That is some good advice. You definitely have to know your work. We definitely need to know that. And like I said, thank you for coming on the show, and we're going to have you on here sometime in the future if that's not a problem.
Absolutely, anytime.
All right, great. You have a good one, Annika. All right, and that was Annika Michelle. I mean, she has a great personality. She's a very warm spirit. She's a cool person. And on that note, what I would like to do is thank you all for listening. This is episode 2 has come to a close. It's great. I'm excited. I had a great time. This is Eddie Caine Radio. Now, I want to leave you with this. When they seem to go by so fast, if things are moving so fast, and it's getting hectic, just step back and slow it down. Just slow it down. You don't need that stress. Just remember to do that, and you'll have a good one. This is Eddie Caine Radio. I am your host, Eddie Caine. Eddie Caine Radio is an ECMS Productions. You have a good one.
The only person I fear is the Creator who resides in me. Physically appearing to be the person that you see, R.I.P. for the spiritual being. That means rejoicing in purity. You see, it's my duty as a messenger to let freedom ring. From my mouthpiece to wet spots on bed sheets. Strength for the weak, Mother Earth for the meek. The throne for the ones who had to sit in the back seats.